Shemika Berry is our interpretation coordinator at the Accokeek Foundation. She's been an independent historical interpreter for over 15 years, and she's been with the foundation for about 5 years. She interprets the story of Cate Sharper, an enslaved woman who's documented as being in this region during the colonial era. Shemika's been active in the theater community throughout the region and has a one-woman show. This is Stories Living History. I'll invite Shemika Berry to come share Cate Sharper with us.
Welcome to the Bolton Farm. I am Cate Sharper. My grandparents were born in our motherland. They lived a happy life until the day that they were separated and brought to this land. I remember hearing stories of how they were bound, shackled to others that they did not even know. They were bound head to foot, and many did not make it. My grandmother and grandfather were separated, and the only reason that I am here is grandmother was carrying my mother. They were brought to this land, and mother was born. They named her Esther. And after many, many years, I was born. Upon the marriage of Mistress Bolton to Master Bolton, I was brought to this land. It was a difficult time. Oh, how I missed my mother. The Boltons are tobacco farmers, and we must go out and toil the land, fighting the flea beetle, which are teeny tiny creatures that you can barely see. Before you know it, they can destroy all the seedlings of the tobacco. They are a thorn in my side. Have you ever seen a hornworm? 'Tis the most unpleasant creatures you could ever hope to see. They can grow to be this long and be as fat as your thumb and are the same color green as the tobacco leaves themselves, save the black and yellow stripes that go down their back and a little horn that just wiggles at you. The tobacco leaves themselves are quite sticky if you've never touched them, and anything that you touch afterwards gets stuck to your hand. We must pull off the hornworms one by one, morning, noon, and night. Oh, how they are terrible to pull off, and if you do not get them just so, they will spit out everything they have eaten all over your hands. 'Tis enough to make your stomach turn. The Boltons are modest farmers. I am the only one that looks like me here on this land. They are not as well off as Colonel Washington across the river. I hear tell he has over 300. But no, 'tis the year 1770 and I am the only one here. Oh, I was not always the only one here. You see, my last name is Sharper. I am not a part of the Bolton family, nor are they a part of mine. But I am married. Oh, my husband Tom Sharper. I know not if you've heard of him, perhaps not, but Tom is a free man. He may come and go as he pleases, and how he came to get his freedom, I am not certain. 'Tis not a story that he shares often, but it brings me great pride to say that my husband Tom is free. And because he is free and not owned by the Boltons, when he works, they pay him a small wage. I know not what it is like to be paid for my work. They do not pay Tom anymore. So a while back, their youngest son took terrible ill, and they spent all the money that they had to purchase medicine for him. Well, they were so thankful that he was saved and spared, but Thomas had to find work elsewhere. And he has found a farmer who has more of an open mind, who allows him to rent land and to grow his own tobacco. Late at night, while the Boltons are sleeping, after I have finished all of my other work, of course, I steal away and I help Tom tend to his tobacco. 'Tis a different feeling to pull off the hornworms of the tobacco plants of your husband than the tobacco plants of your owner. Tom and I have been married a great number of years. Together we have a son named Jack. He is my pride and joy. I am able to read and we learn by stitching our letters upon samples, and I have them upon my pocket, and it brings me such great joy to teach Jack how to read. You see, though Tom is free because I am a slave, my child is a slave. It would be like if you owned a horse. Any filly or colt that the mare has would belong to you. Doesn't matter where the stallion came from. And so Jack is a slave because I am a slave. But he is always so helpful. We must hang the tobacco from the rafters of the tobacco barn so that they may dry and cure properly. And well, I'm getting up there in age, and if I were to fall and break a hip, I'd not be no good to nobody. But Jack is always the first one to say, "Don't worry, Mama, I'm gonna climb up there and hang him." As he bounds from rafter to rafter, it gives my heart enough to stand still. But he always comes back down safely. At least he did while he was here. The flea beetle that I told you about, some years back, it was like a plague straight from the Bible, and they just descended upon the crops like nothing we had ever seen, and before we even knew it, half the tobacco was gone. Oh, Master was so worried that they would lose the land that he started talking to Mistress about what would they sell. They sold a cow. They sold a horse. It wasn't enough. They took my child from me, and they took him down to the river to sell him off. I will never forget the day when they ripped my heart out of my chest and sent my child up the river. Every time I go down to collect water for laundry, I see his tear-streaked face. That was 4 years ago. My husband is gone. My son been sold away. I just wanted to die. I thought I would die, and I didn't care if I died. sleep in the loft of the kitchen, and I took to the loft for 3 weeks. I refused to get out of bed. What were they going to do to me more than what they had already done? Master was concerned I was going to die, but only because he was worried about who was going to tend to his tobacco. Mistress came up with the idea of perhaps give her something to live for. Master said, well, maybe if we give her a small plot of land, a little piece of the garden for her to grow her own fruits and vegetables, and give her the gumption to get on up out the bed. Can you imagine? They thought me tending to fruits and vegetables would make up for losing my child. But Mother always said I was a clever girl. So I went into the garden. There was some okra, some tomatoes, some sweet potatoes. And I tended to them, and I nurtured them because I had an idea. If Tom could grow his own tobacco and sell that and be able to keep the money to do what he would with the tobacco, why could I not do the same with my fruits and vegetables? And so at night when I would steal away to help him tend to his tobacco, he and I would talk, and we would make plans. I would grow enough of the fruits and vegetables for myself, but grow just a little bit more that perhaps nobody would notice was missing. At night I would steal away with the harvest and take them to Tom. And that, coupled with his tobacco, selling them, we have great hopes that we'll be able to earn enough money to save to buy Jack's freedom. You see, he's 16 now and he's nearing a man. Oh, I've heard stories that he's doing well and learning how to tan and even apprenticing himself out, but I want him to be able to be free. I care not about my freedom. I want what's better for my child than what I had, than what my mother had, than what was stolen away from my grandparents. They knew what it was to be free, and I've only heard stories, but I want that life for my baby. And so I will toil the ground until my fingers bleed, until my back breaks, so that I can grow what I need to and help my husband with his farm. Because there is nothing I want more in this world than for my son to be free, free like his father, and not a slave like his mother.